What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the MLB First Look podcast, coming to your ears here on Tuesday, August 17th, over halfway through August, and getting closer to football season, of course, but we still have baseball to talk about today. I'm joined, as usual, by G Rizen. What's going on, man?
Not too much. As you said, football's coming. Great time of the year. And I'm still, as we were saying a little earlier before we got on, I'm still amazed that you rode your bike as far as you did yesterday. That was quite impressive. 29 miles on a bike, especially at your age in Colorado, is impressive. I can usually go about 8 to 10 miles and then I die, and I feel like I'm going to die. But damn, good for you, man. That's good to hear. Good for you.
I appreciate the compliment, but there was a hidden insult in there. At my age, I'm not that old. I can still ride a bike.
Oh, come on. 29 miles on a bike at your age is really impressive. Not too many people your age is out there doing that. I'd say less than 1%. So you're a 1%er, so that's impressive.
I hear, but I kind of think biking is kind of an old man sport. At least that's the trail that I'm on. It's like you're not out there unless you're like, I'm the only biker out there that's like not wearing like biking spandex, I'm still just wearing like my normal t-shirt and shorts. Everyone's got like they're all geared up, so maybe I'll get there eventually, but I don't want to be, but it's a lot of like 50, 60-year-old dudes, but you can tell these guys are like probably doing like triathlons on the weekend and shit like that.
Right. And there's just nothing more motivating when you're riding your bike and some 60-year-old dude in a spandex goes flying by you up a hill.
Oh, yeah.
You're like dying to get up the hill. You're thinking, are you kidding me? Like, hell no. And then you start trying to pedal, and then you're like, oh man, it's tough sometimes. Like we were saying, man, when you see the 3-degree incline, 5-degree incline on a road, you know it.
Yeah, I definitely got passed by a few of the old spandex men, but hey, no shame. Maybe I'll pass them again in a month or two after I work myself a little bit more into shape. But that's enough of my boring exercise life story. Let's get into the baseball, G Rizen. We do have 15 games on this Tuesday, so should be a good slate. I think a lot of the members had good days yesterday. I know you and I both ended up well with inside the money. I had a little sweat. I had the 5-man Brave stack. They went off early and often. Pitching was pretty good. I had the guy that really cost me kind of a shot at the big money was actually Shohei Ohtani, who I thought was a really, really good leverage play against Garrett Cole. 1% owned. He did hit one to the wall, so that would have helped. But anyway, a good night overall, and happy to get back to it on Tuesday here.
Yesterday, I heard about your Shohei call, and then when I checked the baseball app and it was 1-0 in the first inning, I thought, no shit, he hit a home run.
We were still in the air watching that, and it's like, how is that Upton and not Ohtani? You know what I mean? It's like it had to be Ohtani, but alas, it was not. So yeah, going into tonight, I think I see a lot of pitching options out there. Of course, on a 15-game slate, there's going to be plenty of guys that we have no interest in, that we want to stack again and all that good stuff. But in terms of guys that you can roster, especially kind of in the middle range, well, at the top end too, but I see just a ton of pretty strong plays up and down the pricing spectrum on DraftKings. Obviously, you're more the FanDuel guy, so you can give your thoughts there. But, I mean, starting off at the very top, Corbin Burns, 10.2K, coming off of one of the best starts of the year, not only for him, but of any pitcher in baseball. 8 scoreless innings against the Cubs. Easy matchup, of course, but 15 strikeouts, no walks. Only gave up 1 fly ball in that entire start. The rest were strikeouts or grounders. 49.6 on DraftKings. Now he gets St. Louis, right? I mean, this is another good matchup. A right-handed heavy team, a pitcher's park for the most part. Looking at see how hot it is there. 85 degrees. Okay, yeah, it'll play as a pitcher's park tonight. I don't know. I mean, he only threw 99 pitches in that start, so it's not like he was overworked going deep into the game. Kind of like his chances to not go back-to-back, but, put up another big game here against St. Louis.
Yeah, Corbin Burns, as we've been saying on this pod all season, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, no question. Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely interesting. I actually think with the pricing and just the way it seems like it's been, the way people have been deciding the roster, the pitchers kind of going with the mid-level guys more so recently. I think Burns at 11.5 on FanDuel. The second guy is 10.3, which is Chris Bassett. And I don't know if too many people are going to be willing to eat that, the 11.5. So as the day goes on, I'm going to kind of see what the industry buzz is. If I can get Corbin Burns low owned tonight at possibly like a 10% owned, I'm really interested in that matchup with that at that price. So generally, I should be able to figure out some bats on FanDuel generally, even though they have been getting a little bit tougher with their pricing recently. But I think we could squeeze it in. But yeah, Burns is definitely going to be interesting up at the top. So if I can get him low ownership, like I said, I'm going to be on board.
Yeah. I hear you. I think Burns is a fantastic play. On FanDuel, you're going to be able to make a pretty good lineup, right? Even with his 11.5K pitcher in terms of the bats. Like, there'll be enough value out there. You can pick out a one-off or two for 2K or 2,200 or something to make it work. So I'm with you on Burns, but he is, at least in my opinion, far from the only option on the slate. Next highest priced pitcher on DraftKings, at least, is Framber Valdez. I think he's a little cheaper. Yeah, a little cheaper, 9,700, not much cheaper on FanDuel against KC. I mean, good matchup here. I think there are better spots, but on many slates, I think I would be in on Valdez here. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the matchup. Valdez is, basically the win equity's there. I think you're going to get a quality start. Valdez is always around 100 pitches, 100, 107. He did have an 89, 99, 97. He's usually around 6 to 8 Ks. It's been generally around 6 innings his last 4 out of 5 starts. So, he's in line for Q start, and that's important on FanDuel. So, yeah, I don't mind this play at all. The Royals, they're a pesky team, but I wouldn't say they're anybody that you're really going to fear. But you're right. Just glancing over some of these pitchers, I just keep going down the list, kind of nodding my head saying, yeah, I'd play him. Yep. Yeah, I'd play him too, so, but yeah, there's lots of options around that price tag. There's a couple other guys like, Alek Manoah, and you got Adam Wainwright too, are all around the same price as Valdez that I think, you definitely could play, especially Wainwright lately. He's just been so consistent. I think he's a decent play, and then Manoah with this strikeout upside against Washington, especially being a lefty, I like that too.
Yeah, Valdez. The thing that worries me with him is just the walks. Like, he survived it, but last 4 games, 4, 3, 3, and 6 walks. Like, that's will usually come to bite you in the ass at some point. So that's my trepidation with him, along with the price, 10K even. You mentioned several other guys that I think are very much in play. I mean, Wainwright's he's just been awesome. 5, 6 good starts in a row, including one of his best starts of the year, complete game shutout. He's got a couple of those, again, against Pittsburgh. Milwaukee, a better lineup, but at home, where Wainwright's always been better. I'm not super scared of this matchup against Milwaukee whatsoever. So I like him. I've been an Alek Manoah fan ever since he was called up, and he's just getting better and better. I think he's, going to finish this year strong. It seems like for Toronto. The Washington lineup is kind of AAA like, right? Outside of Juan Soto, not a lot of bats that you fear there. Logan Webb, I think, could potentially be a little bit overlooked. I've been on him his last 2 starts, 8 and 9 strikeouts at home here against the Mets. Again, they got to Gausman a little bit yesterday, but I don't fear the Mets at all. So I like Logan Webb a lot at 8,800, especially if he'll get low around. Again, hard to say right now. I probably won't go there on this slate, but like Kyle Gibson against the Diamondbacks is totally fine. I mean, I'll play any pitcher against the Diamondbacks, and Gibson's certainly conquered more difficult opponents than that. So yeah, I mean, just a ton of guys. The only spot I see that the pitching really suffers today is the cheaper guys, at least on DraftKings. I don't really see much below. Who's the cheapest guy I'd be willing to use? Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to spend, right? I
I
think.
think Logan Webb would be the cheapest guy. He's 7,600 on FanDuel, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I'm in
go
on
much
that.
below that. I think I kind of built a dummy team this morning, just glancing through it, and I actually had Logan Webb.
I
So
love Logan Webb. Yeah, I just think he's awesome. He's just not he's not a big name, right? You just don't. I don't know, for whatever reason he's kind of flown under the radar. I think it's his first like great season, but throws a lot of strikes, an excellent slider, good offense behind him, good matchup here. Yeah, I like everything about him. So I'm in on Logan Webb, especially at that FanDuel price.
I mean, you look at his game log. I mean,
He's
shit, he's
great.
gone 6 innings the last four starts. I mean, he's given up only 3 hits in 3 out of those 4 starts. He had 9 Ks, 8 Ks. He's only given up like 4 earned runs in his last 4. I mean, the kid's pitching awesome. I mean, for 7,600, I don't think you're going to find a better option than that, especially today. So, to get some of these bats, especially in this warmer weather when we've been seeing double-digit runs almost every night recently, that's definitely a guy that I'm going to have on probably in my player pool tonight.
Yeah, me too for sure. In on Logan Webb, and yeah, I guess just kind of recap. I mean, for me, it's Burns, Webb, Manoah, Wainwright. I think those 4 are the 4 guys I'll probably have the most exposure to. But then, I mean, Valdez, I think, is interesting. Chris Bassett is a little bit interesting. Gibson is fine, So there are other ways to go, but I think those 4, again, that's for me, Burns, Webb, Manoah, and Wainwright, the big 4 for me on this slate. Sounds like you're kind of in a similar boat.
Yeah, and then too, I mean, Burns and Wainwright are pitching against each other, so I think that's a little bump to both of them. Because I do like when you got 2 good pitchers doing it out, especially a guy like Wainwright. If you don't think he's going to go out in the mound today and be fired up to be against Corbin Burns, then he should just retire if that's the case. But he's been pitching so well. I think he's going to have a little bit extra today. So yeah, Wainwright is going to be a guy that I like the second. I like a pitching matchup when you got 2 pitchers and you have an A+ pitcher and then you got like a B+ A- pitcher. Usually the guy who's the A+ or B- usually steps up. So I like that. I like that scenario. So Wainwright, to me, for his price, I'm almost thinking I might rather have Wainwright than Burns just for the 2,000 savings. But like I said, if I can get Burns really low owned, I'm going to be a little bit more interested than not.
Yeah, for me, kind of where I go at pitching on each individual lineup will kind of depend a little bit just on the roster construction, right? Trying to get in your stacks and kind of see who fits a little bit. Maybe you got to move around one hitter to fit in a different guy, but just one of those sites for me where I feel pretty confident in my top 4 or 5 pitchers. Kind of want to mix and match based on the lineup for each individual team. Let's jump over to the bats. We'll start at catcher as we always do. Some pretty good options, I think, up top here. You've got Salvador Perez against a lefty. He just continues to mash. A tough one in Valdez, so not a perfect matchup by any means. And Valdez does get a lot of ground balls, so maybe rethinking that one a little bit, but we'll see. But JT Realmuto against Caleb Smith in Arizona. Again, another lefty. I really, really like that. If Will Smith is in there against Will Crow, I like the Dodgers a ton tonight. They were disappointing last night, but I think they bounced back here. Will Smith sat last night, so he should be in there. He's been a monster recently. I do kind of prefer him against I prefer him against righties, which gets Will Crow is indeed a righty. So yeah, Real Muto, Will Smith, I think near the top of the list for me. Obviously don't have to play one over on FanDuel, but do you see any catchers that catch your eye here?
Yeah, what stands out to me is Mike Zunino against the lefty.
Yeah, I like that call. Yep.
Zunino, he's been getting bumped up in the lineup recently. I think the last time a lefty was out, I think he was in the 6 hole from 6 or 7. If I'm not mistaken. I definitely like some Mike Zunino. If you've been following RPS, you know that Tampa's been an RPS favorite here recently. Really like your Will Smith call. I do like that, especially with him sitting out yesterday. He should be in there today. Yeah. And then you mentioned Salvador. I don't mind him, but I probably won't have too many Royals. But another guy I might mention is Tucker Barnhart too. If we get him with the Reds just been scoring quite a bit of runs, and if I have a stack, which I had a stack yesterday of the Reds, he came through late actually with a dong, but I like pieces of the stacks. Obviously the Reds catcher, the Rays catcher, the Dodgers catcher. These guys are all on teams that have pretty strong lineups. So, but for me, I think Zunino standing out as my favorite.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean on Zunino, I think it's close for me between him and Will Smith. Let's go to first base. Absolutely loaded here. I mean, at the top end, just reading from the top end of the pricing. Shohei Ohtani against Casey Mize. Yes, please. Vladimir Guerrero against Eric Fedde. That's going to be a yes, please. Matt Olson against Reynaldo Lopez. That looks excellent. So, yeah, those top three guys. I mean, Joey Votto I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon. I got to be honest. Kyle Hendricks has given up a ton of home runs this year. I love Votto. You get him, I think, probably a little bit lower owned. But, yeah, I'm with you. I have no problem going back to the Reds here. Max Muncy against Will Crowe. I mean, I think the Dodgers probably explode into life tonight. That's only the first 5 or 6 guys there. You got CJ Cron back in Coors against a bad lefty and Matt Strahm. Just a million ways to go at first base. So narrow it down a little bit for us, G Rizen.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to narrow that down. I think it is probably one of the stronger positions. I mean, there is so many guys. Joey Votto, like you said, I mean, damn, is this 2010 when he won the MVP? The dude's he's seen beach balls. And then Cody Bellinger's been on fire a little bit. He's caught fire. So I don't mind him. He's priced up actually, 3,500. And then, as you mentioned, Muncy, and then you got Miguel Cabrera. He's going to hit his homer here soon. I mean, he's at home. I bet all 3 games in the series he was going to hit one at 4.5 to 5 to 1. And fortunately, I donated a sports book for that one. But I'm going to keep riding on that one. It's just fun when you're Detroit and everybody's all excited and, you got money on it and you win. I don't know. It was like the whole point of me just being excited he hit the home run. But another guy, too, at first that's been on fire is Matt Olson. Yeah. So I do like that, too. As you mentioned, there's just so many plays here at first. I mean, you could even throw in a Freddie Freeman. I mean, there's, as you mentioned, the Coors game with CJ Cron. So, yeah, there's just so many options. It's going to be tough, but I think, just the way we've all been building our lineups with the 4-4 and 4-3 stacks. First base is probably going to be a position where you're going to want to have a stud in your stack. So lots of power here at first base for sure.
Yeah, this will be one we'll have to dive into these individual matchups a little bit more and try to find some differentiation between these top guys. I do think you're going to want to spend at first base because we're going to get some big games out of the big names tonight. You can't necessarily say where it's going to come from. You try your best to do so, but it's tough. But these 5K plus first basemen on DraftKings, I think at least a couple of them are going to have big games. So if you are fading the true stud guys, at least make sure your guy has double dong potential is what I would say in tournaments for first base. Jumping over to second base, a decent position. It's not as strong as first base, no doubt about it, but still plenty of options up top. I mean, the whole Blue Jays lineup going to be in play against Eric Fedde, right, in that Nationals bullpen. I don't think I'm breaking any news there. Blue Jays look like now they have a team total of 5.6, 5.7. You can see that even climbing throughout the day. Jose Altuve gets a lefty. Not the ideal park for him in Kansas City. He doesn't have the most raw power in the world, but still, I think a pretty good play there if you want to go in that direction. Your boy Trey Turner, now shortstop second base eligible, so you can play him at either position. Certainly like the matchup there against Will Crowe. So, we are going to have to find some value at G Rizen because we kind of wanted to spend it pitching. So those are some of the top end guys for me. Do you have any cheaper second baseman you're looking at?
Cheaper guys, maybe like a Mike Moustakas if he's going to be in there today. He's only 2,600 against Kyle Hendricks. I think that would be a spot that I might look to. I do like that. And Chris Taylor's only 3,200. He's actually been
he's slumping a little.
Yeah, he's been up in the been priced up a little higher. I got to imagine he's probably not too happy Trey Turner came to town. I got to assume, considering it pretty much took his spot. But you got these you got the two Colorado guys that you can play at second that really aren't priced too high with Rogers and McMahon. I don't really generally like to play McMahon. I'd rather play Rogers, actually. It seems like he's just higher up in the lineup. Like yesterday, I think he was in the 2-hole. And then you got, man, you're right. It's just really tough to find any kind of value here. I mean, for me, like the lowest I'd go is probably Moustakas. I think he fit really nice in the red stack, probably be batting 5th or 6th. I don't mind that at all. I guess you could look at maybe, it's not really cheap.
I got a couple guys here, at least on DraftKings. Adam Frazier back in Coors Field is 3,900. That's a nice discount for him. And then my guy Jorge Polanco for the Twins just remains super, super hot. Kind of under the radar because I think people, kind of just written off the Twins, me included. But he's been awesome. Gets Eli Morgan and 3,500. You can play him, I think, at shortstop or second. He's just way underpriced, frankly, for what he's providing and the way he's hitting. So,
what's his price on DK?
3,500 for Jorge.
Oh, he's actually cheaper on DK than he is FanDuel. He's 3,600 on FanDuel. He's usually priced up a little bit.
Usually a good sign that the guy's a value on DraftKings when that's the case. So, both Polanco, Frazier, and you can get both guys in the lineup. Play Polanco.
One guy I just wanted to mention who's just been surprising to me is that Jonathan India for the Reds.
Oh, he's been awesome.
He's just been awesome. I mean, it's
almost every night with him, it seems like.
Yeah, for a young kid to be hitting the ball as he did. I know he hit a homer yesterday. 40-some points yesterday. He's just been a guy, like I was building some red stacks yesterday, and I had one at first without him, and I thought, damn, every time I look up, that dude's hitting the hole. I got to get him on my team. Mm-hmm. So I had to move some things around. I actually took out Castellanos for India, which actually helped me. So, it worked out good. And you got Simeon, too, in Toronto. So you got a lot of high-end options, and like you said, looking for some cheap bats to try to be able to fill out a roster here with our high-end pitching. But I'd say Moustakas is probably my favorite play, just especially at the price point.
Yeah, weirdly on DraftKings, you can't play him at second. You can only play him at first or third. So we'll talk about third next for right now. Moustakas, I think a decent play there, 4,900, a little expensive, but certainly big upside against Hendricks. Other guys I'm looking at, Jose Ramirez continues to hit for Cleveland. He gets Bailey Ober, who I actually do like a little bit, but still advantage Ramirez in that one, no doubt about it. Justin Turner, again, I kind of like pretty much the entire Dodgers lineup here. Again, you can't necessarily play them all because they're expensive, but I do really like Turner. Of course, you can go to Coors Field. Either the Padres or the Rockies, I think, are both decent ways to go. Third base looks maybe not like the strongest position, I would say, at least here on first glance. Some cheaper guys, Heimer Candelario for your Tigers. Been hitting a little bit recently. Gets Dylan Bundy. Good matchup there for sure. So if you want to go that direction, no problem with that. Josh Donaldson is 3,500 against a pretty bad pitcher. I think that's fine if he's in the lineup. Luis Arias back to the Twins, 2,800, usually hitting 4th or 5th for that Twins team. If you're in on, the Polanco mini stack, maybe you go with Arias, you can drive him in. Third base looks a little thin. Maybe we'll get a value guy that emerges because I could see going cheaper at this position, potentially at least. What do you see here at third base?
Yeah, third base is interesting. I mean, sticking to the Reds name, Suarez would be interesting for me. I like him. I also like Austin Riley over there at Atlanta. Justin Turner is interesting. If you want to pay down a little bit, I don't mind Toro for Seattle. I don't mind that. I think you can play him at third on FanDuel. Yep. And then Matt Chapman's been actually hitting the ball really well. I think he's like 9 for 21 his last week or 2 weeks. He's been hitting pretty well. I don't mind Matt Chapman. Seems like he finally is going to turn the corner and start hitting the ball. And then, I don't mind a guy like Willie Castro for my Tigers. You mentioned Candelario. You could play him as well, but Willie Castro, he's just a guy that generally I like to throw into my stacks. He's like a cheaper price guy that can hit a homer. So I do like him, but you're right. Third base is pretty thin. I would have a little interest in Josh Donaldson. He's actually been hitting pretty well recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's thin pickings here. If you really wanted to be different, you might want to look at, if Burns is going to be popular. I mean, you wanted to pick off one guy that might be able to do some damage to Burns. It would be Nolan for me against Burns. But, if you wanted to go that route, I don't think he's going to be popular enough for me to take that type of leverage and it would be worth it. Yeah, third base, there ain't really too much jump. I mean, you could go to the Justin Turner route, whatever else, but yeah, third base is interesting tonight. Not too much standing out for me.
Yeah, it does appear to be that way. Hopefully we'll be able to find some value kind of as lineups come out and the day unfolds. Let's go over to outfield. Always going to be a million options in the outfield. I do think this may be a position.
Did you skip shortstop there, buddy?
Yeah, I did skip shortstop. The reason was I had Polanco in my lineup already.
Should I call you Holden?
Yeah, I skipped shortstop. Hey, I get a break. It's 7:30 in the morning over here. Let's go to shortstop then. Polanco again. Sometimes when we're talking, I'm just kind of building dummy lineups, seeing what works, and then I look at my lineup and I see someone there, and then I think we already talked about it. So anyway. I do like Polanco, as I mentioned. I mean, if you want to go back to Coors Field, Fernando Tatis, I know it's against German Marquez, but I do think he is an absolutely phenomenal option, as is Bo Bichette, the highest priced guy on DraftKings, highest priced shortstop, rather, on DraftKings today. Trevor Story, just crushes, especially lefties in Coors Field. I think he's an awesome option. So this potentially looks like a spend position to me. Corey Seager, 4,600 in that Dodgers stack that we like so much. Cronenworth, awesome position here, shortstop. So why don't you give us your favorite guys?
Yeah, I think shortstop is a spot you're going to want to pay out because it seems like maybe the top 5 or 6 guys are in really good spots. And then when you get down, it just drops off to where
it does really. Yep.
You don't want to get beat, 30-3 at shortstop. So, but you're right. I mean, Tatis and Coors, I had him in a lineup or two yesterday as a one-off. I did stack Colorado and not San Diego, which ended up working out. I think Tatis only had 9 points. He was like pretty much my lowest scoring guy, actually. But Story, like you mentioned, against the lefty, it's been amazing. It's been kind of surprising to me recently how low owned Colorado has been at home. I know they're not that good, but man, they've been scoring some runs at home lately. So that's why I went with them yesterday. I just thought, maybe we'll get a good start out of the pitcher, which we ended up getting a great start. I think we went almost 7 innings against the Padres, which was surprising. But another guy too that's Swanson's been really hot. I was on the Braves yesterday, but I'm fading today against Alcantara, who just too many ground balls and doesn't give up any home runs. So Dansby's actually, what is he like? He's like 12 for 29 in his last week or two. He's just been absolutely hitting the ball. I'm just kind of looking here. I was just trying to see if usually I look to see where Bogarts is, and he's not on the slate here. Surprising, all these games, and there's no Boston. That's
doubleheader for Boston and New York today.
Okay, makes sense. That's why they're not on the slate. But definitely going to pay up at short, whether it be Story, Fernando Tatis. Corey Seager is actually only 3,200 on FanDuel, so I don't mind that at all. And then Trey Turner's 3,900. Actually could sneak in both of them, probably be pretty different if you had both of them in a stack. Brandon Crawford too might be a guy I might look at for San Fran. But definitely looking to pay up today.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I will too. I'll throw in one cheap guy. He's 2K. Reds prospect Jose Barrero. got recalled yesterday. Probably going to be hitting 7th or 8th, frankly, but had, I think, 18 home runs and 15 steals between Double-A and Triple-A. Just really, really hitting. So we'll see. We've seen guys struggle, but 2K and a team that we kind of like against Kyle Hendricks, if you need the savings, and you might, because, there's a lot of guys to spend on. Jose Barrero, obviously make sure he's in the lineup first. Let's go to outfield. Here we go. We covered shortstop. We can go to outfield now. I kind of think some of the very top end here maybe isn't as strong as it was. Like first base was just, you wanted to play everybody. Here, I don't know if I really want to play Juan Soto against Alek Manoah. Obviously a fine play if you want to do it, but it's just so many walks, right? People just pitching around him, and Soto's too disciplined to kind of ever chase outside the zone. So I don't love that. I don't necessarily love Starling Marte, who's the second highest price outfielder. I do like Ohtani if you can get the 6,500. But like Christian Yelich, I'm not playing him against Adam Wainwright. It's been a struggle for Yelich. Teoscar Hernandez would probably be my favorite guy after Ohtani in terms of going down the pricing list. He has been on fire, gets Fetty, and obviously hitting in the middle of that Blue Jays lineup is a good place to be. So, yeah, if I'm spending, maybe Teoscar and some of the Blue Jays. Nelson Cruz against the lefty. I mean, don't need to say much more than that. So, yeah, the top end, I don't know, maybe a tiny bit thin, at least for a 15-game slate. But that means maybe we can save a little bit here in the outfield. So what do you see at the outfield position?
Yeah, I agree with you with the Toronto guys. Teoscar has been just hammering the ball. He gets a good matchup. I can't disagree with you there. I could even throw in Gurriel and Grichuk if you wanted to. But there's some couple cheap outfielders in Coors for the Colorado side. That Connor Joe leading off. He had a homer yesterday. Didn't even bump his price. He's under $3K. Getting a leadoff guy in Coors that hit a homer at 2,900, I can't argue that. And then also Charlie Blackmon hit a homer yesterday. He's only 3,400. This seems weird seeing Charlie Blackmon 3,400 at home. It's just too tempting. Yeah. And then you mentioned Nelson Cruz with Tampa, obviously against the lefty. That's always something we like. And I like his buddy Randy or Rosarino also over there. In that matchup. So I think that's a place we could look at. Starling Marte's been hitting the ball really well lately. I like him. Maybe another cheap guy you might want to consider would be, I don't know if Corey Dickerson's going to be in there today. He very well may be. He's only 2,200 on FanDuel. So if he's in there today, be somebody I might want to look at. Brent Rooker's another guy that's pretty cheap against Cleveland there. I think he's, if he's been hitting higher up in the lineup, they got him up there. It'd be a guy I'd be interested in as well. I think I even hate to say it, Bryce Harper's in a good spot today, even though I can't stand playing Bryce Harper. He's probably my guy that I it's hard for me to click on him unless it's a short slate. He's just the guy that's always a thorn in my side, never does anything for me. So, but he's actually in a good spot today too. Lots of options here, but I think that Connor Joe and Teoscar stand out for me, and then Nelson Cruz and Randy Rosarena are some guys that I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah, you mentioned Rooker 2,800. I think we'll be hitting second tonight. He's got some power, and then Max Kepler too. Not to get back on the Twins, but he's got 2 home runs in his last 3 games. And he's been crushing it on DraftKings, 22, 20, 24 DraftKings points. Being a Twins fan, I'm telling you, Kepler goes through these massive streaks, and he's seeing the ball well right now. He hits righties well. This looks like a good matchup to me for him against Eli Morgan, who's going to be home run prone, I think, especially to left-handed bats. So, a lot of options to go in the outfield as always, as with stacks as always. And it's going to be a fun night of baseball. I'm looking forward to this one. I did want to mention one more pitcher that we overlooked, and he's a little bit cheaper, which is why I want to bring him up, and that's Oscar Inoa for the Atlanta Braves. If you remember back to April and May, he was kind of a breakout star pitcher. He had one bad outing. He punched the dugout wall, the dugout bench or something, and broke his hand. He's been out for 2-3 months now, but he's back, making his first start here. He got up to 83 pitches in his last minor league start, so he should be pretty much good to go for 90 plus, 7,300 against Miami, right? That's a matchup that we want to target in Miami for sure. So I needed to throw one last pitcher in there, Oscar Noah, because I do anticipate having quite a bit of him myself. Not sure what his FanDuel price is, but he's capable of a big game here, no question.
Yeah, he's 8,400 on FanDuel. I actually looked at him when we were talking about pitching, and then I didn't even bring him up. But
yeah, well, there's a lot of pitching options. It's easy to overlook a guy. So, but I did want to make sure I at least gave him a shout out. That'll do it for us, G Rizen. Thanks for joining me as always. Thank you to the listeners. We do appreciate the support. If you want to join the movement with us over at Run for Your Sports, we've got football season coming up. We have all our products kind of under one umbrella, and you can get 15% off for life. Use promo code RPS NFL 15. Again, that's 15% off your subscription payment for life as long as you stay a member with us over at Run Pure Sports. So join us. I think you will be happy you did. That will do it. He's G Rizen. I'm DraftCheat, and we'll check in next time.